I don't know about you. How many people you see make it to 70, 80, 90 who are obese? I can't think of one. As you get older, all that talk is not cute no more. You cutting off ankles. You cutting off limbs.
Everything hurts.
This is a sickness.
It's not a sickness.
It is a sickness.
No.
Literally.
No, it's not. I just want to show Abba something, and I want to show you guys something, because it's something that was on social media. I was scrolling on my social media, and I encountered something, and it made me chuckle. And I want to show Abba, because I want to see if he's going to chuckle as me, or if it's just me that just think things are funny, okay? So, all right. So, there was this fashion show of, body positivity, you know what I mean? Swim thick, boom, right? All right, boom, right? Boom. Oh. All right. Boom. All right. Boom. All right. Boom. Show me when you see something funny. All right. Boom. All right. Boom. Did you see it?
I just see it.
Body positivity, bro. Body positivity. You give me this? Whose man is this?
Me.
Whose man is this? And look what, it says swim thick on his trunk. Thick where? His dick? There's no the moral of the story. There's no, I'm just gonna put it out there. This is it. I don't expect you to say nothing.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, man. Usual. That's fine. I just want to put it out there. That shit was funny.
Some of these women weren't slim thick. Some of them were just fat. Like, I know you were thinking about the black dude. I really don't care about that part. It's just like, I see these kinds of events and I find them cringe.
Why is it cringe?
I find it cringe. It's one thing if the ladies are thick or, thicker than you have. That's fine. Some of them are just straight up fat. Like,
so what?
So what? This whole thing about like celebrating this stuff, like, no, these people are like killing themselves at risk for a whole bunch of other shit. I was like, no, don't celebrate. The same way we shouldn't be celebrating someone who's bone thick because they're taking a bunch of drugs. Like, it's stupid. It's dumb. Let's be honest, it's dumb. It's dumb, and we're just doing this whole like complacency thing where it's like, ugh. You wanted to say don't go out of your way to make fun of people when they're at that weight? Sure. You want to say don't shame people? Sure. But this whole like propping this up, I find it so cringe.
You think it's cringe?
Absolutely. It's one of the cringiest things. It's like, no, this is a sickness.
It's not a sickness.
It is a sickness.
No.
Literally. Obesity is a sickness.
No, it's not.
Go ahead. Say this shit you want to say.
There's nothing to say.
What, you don't think it's a sickness?
No, it's not.
Okay. What is it then?
It's just a thing.
You think obesity is just a thing? I know you're trolling.
Yeah, I was like, you really take me serious?
No, because I'm trying to be serious, but go ahead. You want to say something?
No, it's just that the thing is, I understand why people are there. Like, it's not because someone is absolutely considered obese that they're inherently not in a good shape. I understand that. Okay, I understand that, and it's not because that happens that. It's not because that we have to, like you said, shame or this and that, and they have to be proud because while they're in a good shape. So let's not shame and let's not, it's just, I understand the body positivity movement in that sense. And then there's other senses and the other side, of course, that's just like, everybody's beautiful and no, I cannot be, I'm not going to talk for other people because I don't know their business. I can only talk for myself. So when the body positivity movement says everybody is beautiful and it's okay to be at any weight, that's where I got a problem. Just for me personally, I cannot, and I ensure you cannot be over a certain weight, or else I am dying.
From what?
High blood pressure, cholesterol, all of that. I understand where they're from. It's just there is again, like any fucking movements, there is a lot of truth in what they say, and then they hit the spot where they go overboard and they're like, yeah, well, you're generalizing everything and it makes no sense. So I can't judge for these ladies and be like, yeah, you're absolutely obese or whatever. Maybe they ain't got no problem. I'm not the one to judge. I'm going to talk about me. I can only talk about me.
Sure, some people do drugs and they're not unhealthy or they're not losing their lives. Absolutely. But one of the biggest indicators of shorter life expectancies is being obese. I'm not talking about like based off the BMI thing. Bro. I'm about like actually properly obese. Like we need to stop this whole thing. Like, it's fine. You don't want to go out of your way to bully. That's fine. I'm not going on fucking girls' Instagram pages like, you're so. I would never do that. But I don't understand this celebration of this state. Or like, oh my God, be proud of what? What are you proud of? Gluttony? Listen, for some of you guys, maybe it's harder than that. Maybe it's not even gluttony. Maybe it's like you have a tremendously hard whatever you do, and your doctor says you need a gastric bypass, whatever the fuck it is, fine. But I'm not going to celebrate what is a sickness.
Yeah, but it's more. I think it's more complex than that. There's some people that have conditions. Like if you take an example, lipedema. Lipedema is a condition that much more people than we think have, and that condition is that your body amasses fat. It just amasses fat. It has nothing to do with you being glutton or whatever, whatnot. And it hurts. That's one of them. So you have, it's not just you're fat and you equal this. That's the thing. It's just the thing that they're trying to do. Okay? It's just that. Being fat does not equal. There's other things that can be there. There's other things that can be there. It doesn't mean that you're glutton or that you are eating in excess or whatever. You can have different conditions. I do understand where you're coming from.
I'm going to just disagree outright. And the reason why I'm going to disagree is there's a reason why in Western countries, especially in places like North America and England, there's far more obesity than anywhere else. You can talk about the exceptions. You can talk about the outliers. Yeah. But the vast majority of the reason why people are massively overweight and dying from comorbidities and different diseases like that is not because of these diseases. Now, if you want to talk about the exceptions.
No, but that, I agree with that.
Hold on. You could talk about the exceptions, right? You could be like, not all. Listen, nobody's talking about all when we're having these conversations. And if someone does have what you're describing, which is a sickness like lipidemia or whatever, I still don't want to celebrate that. You can go through whatever you're going through your body. Nobody needs to shame you, but we don't need to be out here talking about this weight is great. Oh, you're beautiful at your body. It's not. It's not. And at the end of the day, these are risks. And so when I see these kind of events that celebrate this stuff, and it's evidence of something sick, culturally speaking. In the black community, obesity is just a thing. Much more prevalent than in other communities. So sure enough, when the Rona hits, guess what happens? Decimated. Minority communities are especially targeted due to high blood pressure, pre-existing conditions, etc., stuff like that.
But it's not because they're fat; it's because of
because it's racist or whatever. Obesity is not something light. Like in terms of how it affects us as a general population, the outcomes are extremely negative for most people. You know, I don't know about you. How many people you see make it to 70, 80, 90 who are obese? I can't think of one.
And those who make it are not anymore.
They don't get to be. They have to change their ways or they die.
Yeah. Monique was promoting big girls and everything. She had a whole bit about skinny bitches.
No. Yeah.
She had a whole bit about skinny bitches. When she first started, I remember that number. Talk about skinny bitches, and that was big, right? Black community again, talking about skinny bitches and stuff like that. Look at Monique now. You seen Monique recently?
No. Lost all that weight. If she want to live.
I mean,
as you get older, all that talk is not cute no more. You cutting off ankles. You cutting off limbs.
Everything hurts. No, but everything. That's if you have like diabetes and stuff like that. But it's just everything hurts as well. It's a lot of strain on your joints and shit. It is.
I remember when COVID hit, I got really, really sad. Partially because I knew how much it was affecting our community. And that was like a thing that was common. And you know, you would see news reports of these big ladies talking about, "Ooh, I don't give a fuck. We here in Florida gonna party." And like 3 weeks later, you find out the same lady who was on that video died from Rona, right? Pre-existing condition, high blood pressure, whatever. And it's just sad because so many people from our communities get removed. We already deal with enough jailing issues, with enough crime issues, with all this stuff. Now we're losing people to stuff that with proper choices. But again, you also have to acknowledge, right? There's also the societal aspect. You also live in a country where walking is much more difficult because getting anywhere is not encouraged. Like one thing I appreciated spending time like traveling is you get to see how other people live. Other people's lifestyles are just far more conducive to healthier living. Of course, there's a matter of personal choices, but anybody who's addicted, anybody who's got like serious like impulse problems will tell you accessibility generally is one of the biggest issues with relapsing or making bad choices. Meaning like if you are prone to taking bad substances, okay, not keeping them anywhere near you will help you to stay away from them, generally speaking. If you just leave that stuff near somebody who's like really severely addicted to sugars or whatever, it's not gonna be good. So when you live in these neighborhoods where there's like shitty access to foods, like it does raise the likelihood for bad outcomes. I absolutely agree with the personal choices mattering in this situation, but I also think that society can't engineer itself to give people optimal choices that are healthy as well. Our societies are not geared towards that, and they're not geared towards walking to work. They're not geared towards taking public transportation, because a lot of places public transportation is unusable.
Especially in the U.S.
Listen, that is true for a lot of places.
Walking. Can you walk in L.A.?
Listen, I live there. You can't walk there. You can't walk there.
But you can't walk in Florida either.
Because here's the thing. You take 2 hours to get to work and back. You're dying on public transport. That's also unhealthy for you. So me spending time in Europe, me spending time in different places, I got to see how effective these systems
can't
work.
walk in New York.
It's like, oh my God, what a difference it makes. You know what I mean? You're burning a bunch of calories just walking places, walking up hills. You see old ladies over there in like Portugal, right? Just walking up big ass steep hills because they've been doing it their whole lives. Certain cultural and societal factors encourage this kind of healthier living, right? There's not a fast food joint at every corner. Guess what? Now they got bakeries. They got little mom and pop shops. You wish that in a lot of poor areas where obesity is far more prevalent, that these things were accessible. So it's not like I'm lacking in empathy. I'm not like unable to understand how it's much more easy in these kind of environments to become like that. I mean, one of the saddest things, I'm not gonna lie to you, was watching, I think, the Life Channel and seeing these hugely fat, obese parents fattening their kids. So I'm talking about these kids already got high blood pressure by the time they're in their teens. How do you even fix that? Your parents fucked you over. Yeah. Your parents birthed you and said, bitch, we're gonna take you back to the grave before we even get there. We're going to give you bone problems, joint problems, by the time you haven't even hit 20. So I don't lack in understanding, like, sometimes the stuff around you really makes it harder.
Yeah. Okay?
And it's not easy. I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is, we don't have to exacerbate the issue by telling people, oh my God, this is so beautiful. We don't have to do that. We can say it's okay to love yourself. It's okay to say you want better for yourself and that you're okay with where you are, but you're going to get better, because it takes a long time. It's a long journey for people, okay? Weight loss doesn't have to be a 3-month thing. It could be 3, 4, 5 years. But I dislike this kind of like, as you are, you're really good. It's like, no. That's not the case.
When you say that the Western world there's more fat people and everything and stuff, I get that. Yeah, you're absolutely right. I'm not disputing that at all. I understand what you're saying, so we actually agree on that. I'm just saying, yeah, there's exceptions. Now, that being said, when people say you're at risk, you have to understand as well that I'm just really understanding both sides, right? I think that when people say you're at risk of if you're in that predicament, it just doesn't automatically mean that you're gonna have that, but you are in a higher risk of having XYZ, high blood pressure, whatever, name it. You're at risk. It's a risk. It doesn't matter. That doesn't mean that you automatically have it, but you are at risk. You are. So that I think that whenever people hear the at risk, they bypass the at risk and they automatically think, yeah, you just told me that I absolute. They speak in absolute. So yeah, no, I do agree with you.
Maybe this is more so just something I notice when these conversations unfold.
What happens?
I notice that whenever the points of like obesity super rampant, the first thing they'll reply you'll hear is like, all right, well, just because people on the BMI scale overrepresent doesn't mean they're sure. Oh, well, you know what? Some people have conditions and need gastric bypass. Sure. It feels like everything is always just deviating from the main point, which is like, yo, we're just too fucking unhealthy. You want to talk about all these outliers and health? That's fine. I just noticed like this is brought up and it's immediately like, well, some people are sick because, listen, most people are just sick because they're fat and they make bad choices. That's the truth. Either they inherited those bad choices from their parents, maybe it's a mixture of genetics as well, but the truth is, most people are just fat. Let's just focus on that. The people who have a different issue, let them go to a different conversation. But most people are just fat because of bad choices. Once we can get past that and just move past that, not to be like mad at folks, but just to say like, yo, this is bad not only for the individuals involved, but for society as a whole. How do we make things better? Now, folks are going to say, well, the antidote is body positivity. I don't know if that's true. Let's talk about solutions. I do not believe that when I see body positivity in the way that it's exemplified in these kinds of fashion shows, I think is encouraging people to get healthy. However, I will say that when folks just go out of their way to shame people and yell at them, that's not helping either. Okay? I don't think you got to go to somebody's obese and yell at them or shame them. Now, look, some folks are going to reply and say, oh, well, actually, I was shamed and it helped me get... maybe it worked for you. Maybe you're.
But that's not necessarily.
That's not most people. Okay,
Yeah.
most people. So you give them negative stimuli, sometimes they just retreat from it. They don't all need the same kind of treatment.
Yeah.
And so if we're just thinking about what's best as a solution for people,
Yeah.
I would say that you are respectful people, but you also don't go around encouraging it or going yas queen when they say they're fat and they've been eating Twinkies all day or what are the fucking poor choices or exercise choices they've been making. Just because it doesn't mean at risk should scare you. It should frighten you. I don't know what else to tell you. Walking into putting your head in a microwave, not good for you. Oh, actually, it only puts you at risk for, yeah, okay, sure. It's not good for you. Get that through your head. It puts you at risk for a lot of issues if you just stick your head in the microwave and turn that bitch on for 3 hours.
That was a hard pill to swallow for myself. At some point when I was not good. You know what I mean? You're like, oh shit, I'm actually not good. And it's really like a hit. It's really a hit in the face when
Doctor?
the numbers are there and they show you that shit.
You're going to die if you
Like-
keep doing like this.
Keep doing you, boo boo. But if you do, you're gonna be a whole rapper down at 50.
Yeah, man.
And it is what it is. It really hurts. And sometimes you think people are doing that because, yo, they're doing that to hurt me or they're saying some mean things or whatever. No, sometimes it's actually the opposite. You say some things because you are concerned and you want the best for friends. You want the best for the people around you. You want the best. You want the best for your homies and shit. And people really take it personal. The thing in life, whenever you have a disagreement with someone, don't assume, and that's what we often do. Don't assume that the person is mean. Assume that they either don't know or they want your good. After that, assume that they want to get you out. But it's not often not the case. The person doesn't want to they don't want necessarily to take you out or diss you or whatever, whatnot. It just hurts. And the truth hurts sometimes.